New coaches, new conference teams. Listen, man, it's the new playoff era with 12 teams, and it's time to talk some football, man. Today we talking ACC football season preview. Who gonna rule the mountain in the ACC, man? Welcome in to another episode of the Saturday Night Snap Count, season 3. Let's get this thing started, man.
No, I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. But we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound. Let's go eat.
That's right, man. Saturday Night Snap Count season 3, man. Y'all know what it is, man. College football wrap-up show that we do during the season every Saturday night. But we starting early this year, man, so we can get some of these conference previews in, man. I have assembled a team. I guess I'll say College Football Avengers, man, and we're going to bring these guys in. And we're going to talk some ball tonight, but we'll have a rotation going through the season. We got representation from every conference, man, so nobody is left out, man. At least every Power 5 conference, that is. But y'all know who's up first, man. It's my co-host, my guy, Stat Guy, making his way back in the building. What's going on, Stat Guy?
Hey, what's good with you tonight, Coach?
Hey, man, time to talk some football, man. Everybody been waiting to see where the Stat Guy at.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, look, it's middle of June. Man, fall camp's almost here. I'm just ready to hear some helmets start clacking.
That's right, man. Next up, man, representing Just My Damn Opinion and the Georgia Bulldogs, it's our guy, Shawty Parker. What's going on, Shawty?
Gentlemen, what's happening, man?
Hey, man, another night, talk some football, man. Talk some real football, dog. ACC, man. Let's go.
That's right. Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here, man. You know, it's that time of the year, man. It's that time to get on the water, do a lot of fishing and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, just trying to gear up for football season, you know, recharging the batteries and everything. But, you know, it's coming around. It's coming around. The energy coming, man. So I'm just happy to be here and talk about football with you guys, man, and the rest of the panel.
That's right, man. Listen, man, not new to the show, but new brethren in the SEC. We got Jason Watkins, the Hall of Fame college football, representing OU. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, man, I'm just glad to be in here with you folks again. I've been so excited for season 3 and the return of Stat Guy, bro. So, I mean, come on now. We brought Stat Guy back to the stage. You know I wasn't going to miss this one.
That's right, man. This is this is half of the panel that's going to be joining us. We got a shout out to one of our panel members, talking college football with JJ Kitchens, man. His younger brother got called up to the major leagues to play at baseball. So shout out to, I want to say his name is Austin, man. Shout out to Austin Kitchens, man, for getting called up to the major league. That's big time,
Colorado
man.
Rockies.
Get that money.
Right, man. Get that money. That's right, man. Listen, man, I got a former player that's still playing in the league, man. They do like almost 20 years in or something like that. Jay Jackson, man. So I know that's a dope feeling right there, man. So shout out to JJ, man. And then our other three guys, actually Andrew from Penn Sideline Sports, Penn State on Twitter. He may be joining us tonight. Locked on Oklahoma State, Cody Stovall. We don't know where Cody is tonight. Cody may jump in here, he said. And then the guy couldn't make it tonight. Baseball. Yeah. Okay. And then last but not least is our guy, Brinsky Sharp from Sharpshooters Podcast. All of representing great channels, man. Y'all make sure to go out and check these guys out. We got a couple of these channels streaming to their own channel. Just quick, we'll go around to the other two guys and y'all tell them where to find. Tell them where to find you at, Shawty.
Oh, man, you can find me at Just My Damn Opinion on YouTube, man. Definitely on Wednesday nights at 9:30 for sure.
Yeah, make sure y'all go over there and subscribe, man. We're trying to get our guy to 500 subscribers, man. Try to take that thing off. He talks some good barbershop talk. It's entertaining, I can tell you that. Nothing else. It's definitely entertaining, dog.
Strap up, put your mouthpiece in, and let's go.
That's right. Tell them where they can find you at, Jason.
Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the Coach. It's at CFB-pod right here on YouTube. Yeah, make sure you guys get over there and subscribe to these other guys if you're not already subscribed. I think most of my guys are, but yeah, man, it's we're doing a lot of content. We've been going live a lot, and hey, man, just like you were saying earlier, I can't wait for the season, man. I just cannot wait for some football.
That's right, man. Let's say what's up to some of the people already here. Like I said, we streaming this to the Fan Addict YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and we streaming it look like to Hall of Fame as well. Kyle was the first guy in here. What's going on, Kyle? We appreciate you, my guy. Steve B is in the building. Steve B, you, Hank, and Mars. I'm disappointed. You guys are normally one of the first ones in here. Y'all let Kyle beat y'all up in here, man. Eric, what's going on, man? He says he's in, says horns down and Boomer. We see you. We see you. All right, sharpshooters. This is sharpshooters. That's right. Sharpshooters must be busy right now, but he will be a part of the panel as well, representing Alabama. That's right. Brisky, if you can get in, man, we'll be going for a little while, man. So Stevie said, "How I missed it." I don't know, man. He got you today, Steve. Y'all got to make Steven, you and Steve B, man. Y'all let Kyle beat y'all up in here, man. Do better. That's all. Do better. Y'all my guys, man. Get in here early.
Do better.
If you know better, do better, right?
That's right, man. That's right, man. Hey, on both of these channels, man, before we get started, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. Share the content, man. That it's free to do. That's how you can help out all these content creators that's going to be in and out on the snap count this year. Make sure you share and if you're not subscribed, make sure you go subscribe, man. So, hey, man, I would say the ACC and the Big 12 are the two little brothers of this college football era, and the Big 10 and the SEC are the two big brothers. So we'll start with one of the little brothers in the ACC, man. We're going to talk some ACC storylines, man. So one of the storylines I want to talk about, I think a lot of people are talking about, is DJU back in the ACC. You know what I'm saying? 3 years at Clemson, 1 year at Oregon State. Now he's back at Florida State. Got some weapons, but they lost a lot, Jason, man. What you thinking about DJU back in the ACC?
Man, you know me, I'm a big fan of DJU and his family and stuff, but I tell you, I think it's kind of a tough deal for him. And the reason why, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the way that they kind of finished it off. I mean, to go undefeated, I think that was pretty messed up for them to not make it in, but I also think that you got to show up and play in the Orange Bowl when you're going up against the back-to-back champions, national champions, and they just didn't show up. So my concern there is that they don't have the same amount of weapons that they had this past year when they had Jordan Travis. And you know, the way things have kind of been going for old DJU is that he's got blamed at Clemson for everything that was wrong with them, and anything that didn't go right last year, of course, at Oregon State, it kind of started to hear the same kind of thing. So my concern is that they're not really going to be the same football team that you saw a year ago as far as defensively. And but if anything goes wrong, it might end up on his shoulders, and I hate to see that for him.
Yeah, man, I think some of that could be true. One thing I would notice that, like, at his three spots, Clemson, Oregon State, and now Florida State, he didn't have and doesn't have currently any returning experienced wide receivers. I think that's a issue when you're starting to take over an offense, regardless of how long you've been at the school. Like Clemson didn't have a proven wide receiver in 2021. In 2022, goes to Oregon State. They don't have any proven wide receivers. Now he's at Florida State, where all the known wide receivers left. So it's like he keeps finding himself in situations like that. Stat, what you think about DJU return to the ACC?
Yeah, I mean, look, Florida State's going to win some games. It's not like they are playing a hard schedule. I mean, they got some games they have circled if they're trying to win the conference and make it in the playoffs. But I'm kind of with Jason. I think that fan base, after getting robbed, at least that's how they feel, of the playoffs last year, it's playoffs or bust for them. And if anything goes wrong, whether true or not, DJU's getting thrown under the bus.
That's not a good sign, Shawty. You thinking the same thing? You thinking DJU in the uphill battle as far as because Florida State did lose a lot of talent?
I definitely think he's in the uphill battle, but you know, one thing I will say is this is one of the few kids that you can say that don't almost seen it all. I mean, he's coming back to a place that he's familiar with. I mean, he got a chance to learn a pro style offense on the West Coast. He's coming back over here. He's used to the speed of the football. And I think Florida State going to go as far as he can take them. I mean, that's the best thing you can have at this particular time when you got a place like Florida State. I don't think the cupboard is bare.
Yeah.
They have athletes. Now, they don't have what they had last year, but I think he has a lot to work with. And when you got a kid like that who can just stabilize and just make the right throws when you need to make the right throws, that makes everybody better. So I really like him at Florida State. I really like it. I'm interested to see what happens.
Okay. I think Florida State, I don't think they've fallen off the cliff by no means. That offense, they got some guys out of the portal, but we'll see if they can replace the Colemans and the Jaheim Bells. And, they had a loaded running back room where now they got Toa Philly still there, but he's the only guy there. Last year they had, I ain't gonna say the only guy, only proven guy. They got a guy, I want to say his jersey number is 0. He played in the bowl game against the Dogs. He made a couple of plays, a little scat back type dude. So we'll see if Norvell, knows what he's doing down there, man. So it's gonna be interesting.
One thing I would say though too about DJU is something that I felt like he probably got a lot from at Oregon State was working in that pro style offense, learning to read a defense, something that he said he had never done at Clemson under Jonathan Smith. So it was a lot of run the plays that you see, make sure that you're reading the defense and what you're going to do. He had full autonomy to check out and do all that kind of stuff. So I think that definitely, even though you're going back into a similar offense to what you had at Clemson, I think that you definitely, that experience, being able to read.
It's going to be the nuances.
I think so. I mean, I don't want to get ahead and say that I think that there's no way Florida State does anything, because I think, Shadi was right. This is Florida State, man. You can recruit guys. You're going to get guys. They've been heavy in the portal, so they will have some weapons, and they do have a guy in DJU that can carry them in some situations. Now, accuracy-wise, you that would be your concern, I think, a little bit, because he hasn't always been the most accurate. As far as strength, arm strength, and size and ability, I think it's all there for him. There's a reason why he was the number 1 recruit in the country when he came out.
Yeah, they're returning 56% of their offense and 60% of the production on defense. So basically lost up a little bit, almost half on both sides as far as production is concerned. But some of those guys were what, first, second, third rounders in NFL. So it's not like they just graduated or whatever. They had some real guys on that defense that they lost. It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see things like the intermediate balls from DJ. Like, that 10 to 20 yard range. I want to see those like on the slants and crossing routes and things of that nature. Because, again, you said it, Jason. He was the number 1, quarterback coming out of high school. He's got some physical tools about himself. So I want to see how that's improved going from Clemson to Oregon State now back in the, in the ACC. So Stevie rolling in the building. What's going on? And Boomer 129. What's going on, my guy? He said.
Can I say one thing about DJ?
Yeah,
I think he's going to be in a situation where he's going to only maybe have to win only maybe 2 games, maybe 3. You know what I mean? So I think he just don't need to lose games. You know what I'm saying?
So you saying that their schedule is going to allow for him to only have to carry them, I guess you would say, in 1 or 2 games. Okay, I got you. Let's pull up that schedule right quick and see what they got going on. I know they definitely have to they have to play Clemson. That's going to be, I know everybody's going to be looking forward to that, to see what DJU does going back to Clemson. But they start out with Georgia Tech week 0, and that's over there in Dublin, Ireland. I'm interested to see the turnout for that game. See, last year it was Notre Dame. So, I know Notre Dame's not from Ireland, but, it's kind of, they're the fighting Irish. So, it fits a little better. We're going to see what Georgia Tech and Florida State can do over there. But I think Georgia Tech returns a lot on offense, but I think they lost almost everybody on defense. So that may not be a game that he's asked to do a lot. I'm looking at the Saturday, October 5th game playing Clemson at home. And then when they go to Miami on October the 26th, and then at Notre Dame, November the 9th. I think those games, DJU are going to have to really bring it. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Yeah, I think the SMU game's big, right? And but nothing's going to be bigger than the Clemson game. Nothing's going to be bigger than that.
That's the biggest game on the schedule. Whether it means anything for the ACC or not, we'll see. It should actually. Florida State will have 2, 3. They'll have 4 ACC games under their belt already. So it'll be crucial for them. Yeah, they play. They play Georgia Tech, Boston College, Memphis, Cal, and SMU to start the season.
But just imagine that storyline. I mean, that storyline can just grow so many legs. Not only if they beat Clemson and continue on to have a better record, a better season. I mean, that story just continues to grow legs because you had this guy in your facility on your team and you let him get away. Dabo, that just speaks to a lot of the things that a lot of people say about Dabo not to be jumping ahead of things, but you know what I'm saying?
Big facts. That's big facts, man. That's another one of these storylines. Can Dabo and Clemson get back to the mountaintop, and control the ACC? They of the last 3 years, they won the ACC once. The other 2 years, they won 10 and 9 games, but they didn't play for the title at all. So can they get back there? Stat guy, what you thinking on Clemson this year?
How about them taters?
You already know. I called it back in 2021. Clemson was going to fall off the mountain. It's been a little bit slower than I was hoping for, but we'll continue to see that decline this year. I think there's a real shot we don't see them in Charlotte this year. And if that happens, then I think some questions will be asked of Mr. Dabo Swinney come December.
Shawty, what you think about Clemson chances considering they don't use the portal like everybody else? They barely used the portal at all last year, and they didn't use it at all this offseason.
I mean, me personally, I have, Clemson as one of my contending teams to win the ACC. So it's just mainly, in my opinion, it's just kind of based off of, the quarterback. The quarterback is kind of a middle of the conference type of quarterback. So he's really to me, it always boiled down to the trigger man. With them not having maybe like a top 5 quarterback, that's what scares me from them winning the conference. But their overall talent, I do think they bounced back this year. And I do have them as one of my 4 contending teams that can win that conference.
I'm with Shawty on that. I actually think Clemson will be playing in the ACC championship. I think their defense, while not returning as much production as they normally do, they loaded with 4 and 5 stars, and it looks to be these young guys are ready to play. I'm interested to see Sammy Brown. I think he's going to start, and my theory. I told a lot of y'all,
stud.
Listen, I think he's a stud, but you already know my feelings. Like, I think it's good when incoming freshmen can contribute, but when you got to count on them dudes, like make or break type the things. I know they got Barrett Carter on the other side, and they got Peter Woods and TJ Parker up front. Got Khalil Barnes playing that safety, but they got young corners, and they got some other interior defense line. Even though I think they're going to be good. I'm interested to see how Sammy is going to progress this year and how much he's going to be counting on. But I do have Clemson. Even if Cade plays like he played last year, I feel like Clemson just outside of probably like Miami, I think Clemson just got more talent than everybody. What you think, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I love their talent, but I don't love the fact that they don't seem to get out there and get the guys that they need to get. There's 4 teams in the entire FBS that didn't get a single player out of the transfer portal. 3 of them were service academies. The other one was Clemson. I'm just struggling to understand it. And, you brought up Cade Klubnik. He's another guy that was the number 1 quarterback in the country. All of a sudden, it seems to be all these quarterbacks' fault, why things are going bad at Clemson. And I just have a hard time with that. To me, it's you bring in a guy like Garrett Riley, you don't really turn over the offense to him. You don't let him call his own thing. They're doing, it's the quote Clemson offense. And to me, I don't understand it. Richard said in there that that they're recruiting in the top 5. The truth is they haven't been recruiting in the top 10 the last couple of years. So, when you're dropping down in the recruiting, even just a little bit, and you're not going back and supplementing those guys that you could get from the transfer portal, like, to me, when you let some of these receivers get away.
You did hear what Dabo said, though, right? He said he is getting 24 transfers. They just from high school.
You know what that was. Don't get me cussing up in here because you know what I think that was. So look, to me, it's as simple as this. You're not supplementing with that. it puts you in a tough position. He says stupid stuff after going 8-4, like, hey, you know, the transfer's not good enough to play here. What do you mean? You win 8-4. So to me, you got to quit digging your heels in if you're Dabo Swinney. And if you're not gonna get up with the times, I think the right thing to do for Clemson would be to leave before you run it completely into the ground, because it's in a decline. I mean, I think it's clear that it's in the decline. I mean, just like Stat was saying.
Well, so before we move on to another team stat, I think all of us at one point in time is questioning why Dabo doesn't use the portal. If he did use the portal this past offseason, what was he going to go get? What would you think he would focus on?
He needed to go get an offensive line to keep Cade standing upright.
which is crazy enough, though. It's like, according to coaches, that's the hardest thing to get out of the portal. At least good offensive line, I would say.
Not there.
Right, but you went and hired one of the best offensive line coaches in the country in Matt Luke. Right. That fixes that bridges that gap immediately when you go and say, come play for a guy that has probably 15 guys in the NFL right now under his belt. You can go get those guys out of the portal.
But the problem is, you don't have top offensive linemen in the portal. That's the problem.
That's what some of the like Kirby said, that like he did an interview and said offensive linemen are the hardest position to get out of the portal, because offensive linemen don't mind waiting, because normally offensive linemen do have to wait. Rarely do you have a true freshman come in. I mean, when I say rarely, if you're thinking about 100, you're talking about 130 something teams, man, like maybe 4 true freshmen come in and actually make an impact. Sometimes they're playing because just sheer need.
They don't have
They shouldn't be playing, but they playing because of need. But trying to get, so they're the one position I think that don't mind waiting their turn, whereas every other position kind of you can get something out of the portal because they'll hit the portal because they're ready to play right now.
Well, you got to think as an offensive lineman. I'm sorry, Stat guy, I'll let you say something, but you got to think as an offensive lineman. You got to think about it. If you're good, that's a position that's interchangeable. So you got more opportunity. You can slide all the way down from tackle, guard, center. You see what I'm saying? So you got more opportunities. And they generally, once you're in that rotation, you have no choice but to wait.
Big facts.
A lot of the O linemen that we've seen make an impact coming out of the portal have been Ivy League guys and these guys from the FCS. And we've seen them have great years as a junior, be 2 or 3 year starters, and they come for 1 year. Now, coming for 1 year could potentially hurt your program because it's taking snaps from maybe a program guy. But if you have the roster to win a championship and the offensive line is holding you back, you got to go get a guy like that. And Clemson is still to that point where if they could fix the offensive line, it makes running the ball and it fixes your passing game a little bit. I just think it was poor on Dabo not to at least look for the O-line.
Hey, and here's the thing, too, is that we're talking about one of the best offensive line coaches in the country at Clemson. Another one of those is in Oklahoma and Bill Bedenbaugh. He's putting transfer guys in the first round of the draft the last 2 years. Guys that were development guys. In fact, Tyler Guyton was a defensive tackle that was on the bench at TCU. He brought him in and coached him up, and in 2 years, he's a first rounder.
So maybe you got to go in the portal and
find some of these guys. And if you're that guy and you can get these dudes that you need, you just need the bodies. And this is what these coaches are paid to do, is to develop.
Well, we'll see how Matt Luke pans out. Like, I'm with that guy. He's definitely one of the best in the nation. I enjoyed him in his time when he was in Athens. I think he can get it done with enough time. We'll see if the guys there are the personnel that he needs to get it done, because they got a backfield. They got a guy in the backfield, and Phil Maffa, who is easily 1,000-yard back now that Will Shipley's not there. He had over 900 yards last year, splitting carries. I want to say like 179 carries, 175, something like that. Got to think he's going to be in the 250 to 275 range this year. So he's going to easily go over that 1,000-yard mark. So it's about that O-line and Cade being able to read the defense pre and post snap, because he definitely does have some physical tools. Now, looking at their schedule, I wouldn't say it's all. I wouldn't say, like I say, I got them in playing in the championship of the ACC, but I wouldn't say it's all that easy. They start out with the Dogs, but that doesn't affect the ACC. They got NC State, Florida State, Louisville, who I don't know about Louisville. I think Jeff. I mean, but
Sleeper.
they could be asleep. They returned some guys. They lost. I want to say Thrash, the wide receiver. I'm interested to see if they quarterback can put together another season like he had last year. And then at Virginia Tech and at Pitt. So that 3-game stretch, that Louisville, Virginia, at Virginia Tech and at Pitt, that's the stretch I'm looking at for Clemson, because that Virginia Tech game, that's the next team we're going to, kind of jump on before we move on to some, contender teams.
Has Tyler Shuck now, right? Tyler Shuck from Texas Tech.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is right. And they got Jeff Brom, second year.
He's never available.
That's what I'm saying. So, all right. Hey, pause in the moment. Sooner Cowboys, don't tease me with a good time, man. Don't tell me I want the A&M to win. I don't want the Vols to win. So don't jinx it by coming in here saying A&M's going to win the first championship, dog. Like, I need them to win that anyway.
No love for the orange folks up in here, huh?
Right. No love for the orange folks up in here, man. So, but back to the ACC, man. Virginia Tech is me and Stat Guy's sleeper team. Virginia Tech is returning a lot of people, dog. The quarterback, Kyron Jones. I want to say Stat, aren't they like number one in offensive production returning?
Yeah, they returned 96% of their offense from last year. The quarterback, the running back, 4 of the offensive linemen, and then their top 4 wide receivers are all back. Not just talking about returning one guy. They're returning their entire wide receiver room. And all, like, most of them are all like redshirt juniors, seniors. These are all guys that forewent trying to go in the draft, no matter what their grade was, to come back and get Vitek back on top.
So that's like I said, I got Clemson in the championship. I don't know. I got 3 other teams that I think Mike can get there. Virginia Tech is one of those teams I think Mike can get there because of the return in production, and not just the return in production, but it's compared to the rest of the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we thinking about it, Cam Ward is the best. Like Shawty say, trigger man. Cam Ward, I would say I don't know. He's got to be the guy you think is the best trigger man in the ACC, right? Behind him,
he's not my number 1 rated quarterback.
Right now, we're talking about just talent. Malik Murphy's up there, but we haven't been able to see him for a full season, so we don't know. Plus he's at Duke. So I don't know if Duke ain't got the talent to keep. To run them out there every single year. You know what I'm saying? But Shawty, earlier you said you had 4 teams that you think can win the ACC. Clemson was one of them. Who the other 3? Because then we're going to talk about contenders and teams to watch.
Right. So that's kind of how I had mine broken down into like basically favorites to win it. Then I had it broken down into contenders. Then just like some, like people who may got a long shot. So my favorites to win it are Miami, Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina State. I think those are the 4 teams that actually have a shot to win the ACC championship.
I like that for. Stat Guy, give me your contenders and teams to watch.
So my contenders are Clemson and Florida State. But then, I mean, those are the 2. They've ran the conference for the last 100 years, it feels like. But as far as teams to watch, Miami, Vitek, Fran Brown at Syracuse. Syracuse is returning a lot. Fran Brown's a first-year coach, went and hit the portal, turned the recruiting class around after getting there late. Vitek, obviously. And then NC State with Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina, and all he does is win football games.
I'm with that. Jason, what about you? Contenders and teams to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put Florida State and Clemson in there because they are the cream of the conference. But to me, I think this is a year that they don't do it. I'm not going to say that Miami does it just because of the fact that I don't trust Mario Cristobal. I just don't. I think this is maybe the year that you kind of like a couple of years ago when you had Pitt go in there and kind of upset everybody and shock everybody. But so I like Virginia Tech a lot. I also like NC State a lot. I think NC State, they've been right there in the thick of it pretty much every year. This is a guy that goes in and just wins 8, 9, 10 games every year without fail. So to me, I think that they've got a roster this year that they should be able to go in there and get some wins against some of these bigger teams. I don't really trust in what Clemson's doing. I just don't understand what they're doing. I think that with Florida State, it's not because I don't trust some of their players, and I trust DJU, but my thought is with them, I think you get a hangover from getting 60 hung on you. And I don't care what it is. I think that, TCU, we saw it last year. They went to the championship game. Y'all beat them by 50.
You like the over under 9.5 wins with Florida State? Over or under?
9.5. So it's either 10 or 9. I think they could win 9, but I don't think that necessarily gets you in the championship here, because the fact is that they've got a big enough conference now that not everybody's playing everybody. I think you at least, at the worst, you get 2 10 win teams in there probably.
See, that's the thing about the ACC, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. After digging into this conference a little bit more, I think they have a lot more parity than a lot of people may know. I mean, you got a lot of teams in there that's going to win between that, 8 to 10 game range. It's a lot of parity in there.
Well, I'm with you guys, man, for the as far as the teams. Of course, I got Clemson, as the favorite. I got Miami up there, man. The only hesitation, of course, is Cristobal. He hasn't really done anything. He's recruited well, but he hasn't shown me he could let a quarterback be a quarterback and not try to ground and pound, even though he has weapons on the outside and at quarterback. But they got the talent to do so. Also, I like NC State. I do. I like NC State. I think Dave Doran's a weird guy, but I do think he can coach football.
He is a weird guy.
But he can coach some football, and they always, in the thick of things, I think they can do it too. And then I'm with Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech has got enough pieces coming back. Yeah, Brent Pry's a good coach. I think they got enough pieces that if they can handle those games at home, they get Clemson at home this year. So that's one of their bigger games. They play at Miami, and then outside of that, dog, I mean, listen to the schedule. I mean, like we talk about all the time, when you make it to conference championship, playoff, whatever, schedule matters. This is their schedule at Vandy, Marshall.
It's favorable, yeah.
Right, at Vandy, Marshall, at ODU, Rutgers at home, at Miami, at Stanford, Boston College at home, Georgia Tech at home, at Syracuse, and Clemson at home, and then Duke and Virginia to end the season. So I'm like 10-2. It's definitely possible for Virginia Tech, dog. So
I'll tell you something, Coach. The game that scares me the most on there, if I'm a Virginia Tech fan, is playing at Old Dominion, because Old Dominion's beat them at Virginia Tech before. So you look at that schedule, you get Clemson.
They're not going to get overlooked this year, Stat.
Yeah. No, but that's what. But you're like, bro, we playing Old Dominion again. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Right. The good thing for them is it's sandwiched in between Marshall and Rutgers. So they go Vandy, Marshall, ODU, Rutgers before they even get technically. Like Rutgers could score last year, but it's still Rutgers. You know what I'm saying? And it's at home as well. So
yeah.
I mean, listen, if they don't do it this year, who knows when they'll be back, to the Frank Beamer days where they could actually, scare some people when they go to Lane Stadium.
Well, I think the fact that they have the most returning production, right, is a big part of that as well. But that schedule, I mean, you get a nice schedule looking at. I think with Miami, my thing with them is that I think that they could get out of the first month and have 2 losses, and you may lose them. Because I mean, it's no matter how good you think Florida is or isn't, playing in the swamp is no easy task ever.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, look, Tennessee hadn't beaten them in 25 years in the swamp.
That's right. Keaton's question: SMU is already in the ACC,
I like SMU too,
and SMU actually returns a lot. I think what SMU is going to be this year is maybe like a 8-win team, 7-8 win team, but they'll win some games to kind of knock somebody out of contention. You know what I'm saying?
Going to hurt them a little bit.
I got them like ranked 5th or 6th in the conference.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're gonna win some games that's gonna knock somebody out of contention or help somebody else be in contention type deal.
They got a big home game with Florida State. That's going to be Florida State's first real test.
Right.
They got a lot of skill position, man. They're just not very deep up front.
Good, man.
I think that's what's gonna determine. That's what's gonna hurt them later on in the season is the depth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because everybody knows once you get into the heart of that schedule towards the end, you got to have depth. You can't just have 11 on offense, 11 on. Keaton's calling it. right now,
Book it.
SMU beats Florida State. Book it. I
Book
said you heard it here first.
You're in the book. Got you
You're
locked
in the
in.
book. You
It's
got
early
you
enough
locked
that-
in.
It's early enough that it could happen too. I mean, that's the kind. And Rhett Lashley has been a really good coach. I mean, he's been a coordinator at the highest level, coached the national championship games. He got really one of the better quarterbacks coming out of the Dallas Metroplex over the last couple of years, and he looked really good last year, even against Oklahoma. So, to me, I like SMU. I just think that when you go from a Group of 5 conference into a Power 5, and even though we all kind of think a little less of the ACC than normal, but I still think that you have.
And it's Power 4 now, right? It's no longer Power 5, right?
It's the Power 4, but the depth is what I'm saying. That when you go from a Group of 5 into a P4 conference, the depth that you have on your roster is not really ready in year one. And we saw that with UCF a lot last year. We saw that with even BYU and some of these G5 schools that went into the Big 12. So, it takes a year or two, I think, to kind of build your roster up to that point to where you have enough depth. And they lost some guys even on their offensive line.
Right. So Richard asked how many teams we think ACC make the playoff, the conference champion, of course, for sure. And then I think it depends on, I think either the Big 12 or the ACC get 2 in, not both of them, but one of them. Depends on which conference is having the better. Because I feel like it's going to be 8 teams from the Big 10 and the SEC. Then there's one, there's a G5. Then there's Notre Dame. That's, what I'm saying. So yeah, it may just be the winner, the conference champion. To be honest with you, it may just be
because of that Group of 5, right? I mean, I think that's the biggest problem with the new playoff format is that we saw a team that everybody really liked in Liberty last year go and get boat raced by Oregon. I mean, right. Boat raced. And it's even the difference between a good Power 4 school that isn't in the SEC and Georgia or Alabama in the last few years. It's not good. So that you're not going to see a bunch of these guys getting shots when they're not winning. Go ahead, Steph.
Big difference this year. If that was this year, Oregon would be traveling across the country to play at Liberty and Little Podunk, North Carolina, and that could make a big difference. A team like Liberty can beat somebody like that's coming and they're getting a home game.
Got beat by 45, man.
I'm just home field matters. It could happen. I think that home playoff game could help them out.
Plus, traveling across country, I think that actually does a lot, especially when you're talking about that kind of distance. I think Oregon still may win, but I don't know if it's 45, not at Liberty, because, like I say, you got to.
Oregon beat the shit out of Liberty.
They don't beat the hell out of them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, too. I mean, they were right there in the mix to go to the playoff. And especially that's what we're talking about. We're not even talking about them playing against some middle of the road Power 4 school. We're talking about them playing against one of the best teams in the Power 4 that made it to the playoff. And I mean, not for nothing, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
I will say this right here, though, just, all jokes aside. If Liberty comes into this game and plays very well and keep it close, we won't never hit the end of this, automatic bid type thing.
Ooh, that'll throw a big wrench in the whole automatic bid thing.
At least, that means,
like you said, at least the talk
better do their damn job and mop them up.
Right, right.
Coach. So to touch back on Richard's comment again about the 2 of the 1. So Richard, the way it works, the Power 4, the ACC, SEC, Big 12, and Big 10, those champions are ranked 1 through 4, regardless of where they're ranked in the top 25. Then after that, you have your Group of 5. Whoever's the highest ranked Group of 5 team gets that 5th slot. And then 6 through 12 is your next highest ranked teams. So technically, the ACC could technically the ACC could have 3 or 4 teams. I don't think us as a panel think that's realistic. But
no, he was agreeing with me saying that either the ACC gets 2 or the Big 12 gets 2, and then the other one gets 1.
ACC will get 2 for sure.
You think they'll get 2 and the Big 12 will just get 1? Ooh, spitting.
I think the ACC is going to get 2 for sure.
Each other. I think we could see a bunch of 9-3, 10-2 ACC teams, and then
you see the same
outside looking out.
Sound like the Big 12.
The only thing is that I just think the ACC schools are going to be ranked higher. so they may have a little bit more margin for error.
I don't know, because you got to think about Utah, and you got to think about Utah.
They won't be ranked higher than Clemson and Florida State.
It depends on what. Well, we're expecting Clemson and Florida State to just run through it. Then is what you get.
No. I'm just saying they still the pole position. They would start higher, so they have more.
Let me see what the college football preseason rankings are currently, and then we'll see. ESPN 5 days ago on 3 and Athlon did okay. So right now the highest ACC team. I'm outside the 10 right now. Florida State at 12. Then if we compare ACC to Big 12 in the preseason, and we all know where you start, man, the playoff committee say they don't look at that kind of stuff. Florida State is at 12. Utah is at 14. Clemson is at 15. K-State is at 17. So really, like what Shawty was saying, only by a spot or two, but it is like ACC, then Big 12, then ACC, then Big 12. So if they held pole position, ACC would probably get the 2 in. Miami's also there, and Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State's ahead of Miami. Arizona's in there, Kansas in there. Now, what I will say is it looks like the Big 12 has more teams in the top 25, so their strength of schedule, that's how they do strength of schedule, where you rank, you know what I'm saying? So their strength of schedule could beat out some of those top teams. It just depends. I don't know. I tell you what, Clemson and Florida State can't be losing 3 games and then thinking they're going to be it, but you know what I'm saying, get in there. But
and there was, and I'll say that that's the prediction I'll make. If you have a 3-loss runner-up, they're not getting in whatever conference it is, because they'll add another SEC school or Big 10 school before they'll add a 9-3 runner-up from either of those conferences. That's a promise.
I'll say this: I do know whichever one of those conferences get two in, it'll be the whoever loses in their championship. So if you don't make your championship in the Big 12 or the ACC, you don't even have a chance at all. So it'll be down to those 4 teams, and 3 of those 4 teams, I think, will get in. So, all right, man. So, like, what about coaches? We got some new coaches, top coaches, new coaches, and then hot seat coaches. First, we'll talk about, I got a top new hot seat, but we'll talk about the new coaches first. We got 3 new coaches in the ACC. We got Manny Diaz, former defensive coordinator at Miami and Penn State, now at Duke with Malik Murphy at quarterback. You got Bill O'Brien at Boston College. And then you got Fran Brown, former DB coach at Georgia, took over the Syracuse position. Shawty, who in the best spot to have success right away, and who you think will be best long term of those 3?
Fran Brown. I mean, he
just got for both of them.
Yeah, he just got the juice right now. I mean, Bill O'Brien, come on, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, he's in the right place now, up in Boston, still up there where he has a name, but I just think his time has passed. I think that whole kind of way of coaching college football and doing things is kind of just on its way out the door. And Fran Brown right now, he got the juice. He's hot. You know, he's coming from the University of Georgia. I'm somewhat of a homer, so understand that. But at the same time, it has nothing to do with it because he's recruiting. Look what he's pulling from the portal. Look at the talent that he's bringing in. Now, of course, you got to be able to bring in that talent, cultivate it, and make it work. But just from what we see right now, being able to prognosticate off the information we have, I like what he's doing right now. So I'm gonna go with Fran Brown for both of your questions.
What was the
I think question? So the first question was who will have the most success right away, and then who will have the most basically long-term success. And I'm agreeing with Shawty. I think it's Fran in both cases. I think Fran got the juice on the recruiting trail. I agree with James. Bill O'Brien came from the NFL. I think he'll be 1 or 2, maybe 3 seasons max on going back to the NFL. Especially being at Boston College. No shot at Boston College, but it's Boston College, you know what I'm saying? So and then Manny Diaz, I feel like he's a Will Muschamp type guy where he's a great hold on. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. I just don't think he's a head coach. And that's how
I wouldn't know. I was just wondering, like, what are they thinking? Like, if you can't do it at Miami, a place that has a bigger budget and everything, how you gonna do it at
a chance there though? It didn't feel like they gave him a real shot there though.
Bro, it's Miami, dog. Wasn't he there for like 3 seasons?
He was there 2 years, bro. He was there 2
Bro,
years.
Mark Richt went to the ACC championship in his second year at Miami.
Look, man, Mark Richt isn't the same as everybody else that we're talking about. So we're gonna go into this Homer thing, I guess.
I'm just saying, dog. I'm still speaking back. Second year in the league, dog. Dude was in the ACC championship. That's all I'm saying.
I like Manny Diaz. I feel like immediate. I don't think that long term you're gonna ever win at Duke, but I like Manny Diaz right off the bat because of his trigger man. To quote Shawty, he's got the trigger man there in that. I mean, we at Oklahoma, we were calling this kid the Transformer. Very happy that Malik Murphy is no longer at Texas. I could just tell you that. I like what he can do. I think that Manny's a better coach than a lot of people act like he is.
And my thing is he's at Duke, so I think Fran is set up better. Like while Syracuse ain't a recruiting hotbed, he's done well. Fran's a better recruiter, overall. And if we go on with Triggerman, listen, I like Kyle McCord. I don't think he was the 5-star he was made out to be, but I think he's better than Ohio State fans make him to be. I think
I'll give you
know what I'm saying? Because they act like the dude was straight garbage, dog. Like
he was junk. Yeah.
Right. Like, nah, bro. I think the dude good. And he hit the transfer portal hard. Got a lot of good guys. They got a guy from Buffalo playing free safety, had 79 tackles last year. I think that guy's going to make a difference on the defense. He's a DB coach too. So he brought some guys in. He brought like 3 or 4 guys in from Georgia that, probably could have stayed and, in time worked their way into the rotation. So I think he got some talent up here. I think he's the hot one out of those 3. What about you, Stat?
Yeah, the thing that I'm interested to see with Manny Diaz at Duke is replacing Elko. Elko's a defensive-minded coach. He had the program moving in a direction that we thought was kind of heading down the tracks in the right way before jumping ship to A&M. So I'm really interested to see what that looks like with Manny Diaz taking over that defense and if he can build on that. Obviously, having Malik Murphy at quarterback helps, but end of the day, I just don't trust him. You said it. He's another Will Muschamp. My poor Gamecocks did it to me. Hiring a dude that got fired from another school with offensive efficiencies and then let him sit around and do it to us for another couple years. So fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you gotta leave.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's like almost a similar trajectory. You know what I'm saying? So, but we'll see. Maybe Manny Diaz makes me a wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like he's a good defensive mind. I feel like some people deserve to be coordinators and some people deserve to be head coaches. And I don't know. We'll see. And this is the thing. Even if he's better than I'm saying he is, I don't know if Duke is the place to go do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to have some talent.
True.
So
the other thing too with Fran is being able to hit the portal the way he did. He had some talent there. He was able to keep. I want to say Syracuse is returning like in the top 40% of talent on both sides of the ball.
You went and got T-Rob from Texas A&M too for the D-line coach. So that was a big move on his part, I think.
Okay.
Just as a question, when you think about a Manny Diaz, like I'm in the mindset of what I just did, where I'm at currently before I took the head coaching job. I can sit and wait 1 or 2, maybe even 3 more years for a better job to come, in my opinion. So when you take a job like Duke, are you just going there to really just kind of like being a safe haven just to say you're a head coach? Like, are you really expecting to go to Duke and just turn, and just like, how does that propel you to another head coaching position on a higher level?
Let me answer that. So to play devil's advocate with that, I think he thinks he's got to leave Penn State because if James Franklin doesn't win, they might clean house. And if you get fired as a defensive coordinator, which is your calling card, how much longer does it take you to get back to the top of the mountain as a head coach? I think he had to strike while the iron was hot.
So he saw the writing on the wall is what you're saying.
Yeah. And maybe not, but you have the opportunity to get back. Obviously he wants to be a head coach. So right now, here's a head coaching job. Maybe I wait around 2 or 3 years, but what if we lose this year? We start losing halfway through next year and Penn State wipes the floor with this entire coaching staff. Now you got fired at the thing you're known for.
Right.
You're going to have to work that much harder to get the head job again.
I don't know. I'm trying to see the. I'm like Shaw. I'm trying to see the angles. Like, why would you take the Duke job? Maybe it's because even though Elko had success at Duke, you got a longer leash at Duke because I mean, regardless of how good they did, you know what I'm saying, it's still basketball at Duke. If anything, you know, basketball and lacrosse. You know, outside of a couple of years, they didn't want to talk about lacrosse team. But
well, the other thing about Penn State though is that they just re-upped Franklin. It's going to be tough for them to fire him, even though because they're winning 10 and 11 games, even though they're not beating Ohio State or Michigan. It's not like that. I don't think they're in a huge hurry to fire the cat.
And then you got the playoffs.
Yep.
Right. They're going to be in the playoffs if they win 10 and 11 now.
Right. So
even though we know that he's not the guy to get it done, if he can't get it done with, you know, the kind of quarterback that he has right now. Now,
we still got to have some weapons too. Like I don't know what kind of weapons he got on the outside for Malik Murphy either, though. So. Oh
no, I was talking Penn State though.
Oh my bad. Okay.
But I'm saying if we're talking, but when you have Andy Koldenicki that came in from, he's been the offensive coordinator at Kansas for the last few years. Really good. I mean, I think he was on a high on the list for a lot of people. If he could flip that thing around, then you might see them switch it a little bit. But to me, they just haven't. I don't know, man. You just haven't seen what you want to see out of Franklin. So, but even though if you don't think that he's going to lose that job and you're, you know, Manny Diaz, you got to kind of take your shot while you can. You know what I mean? And I agree with you. I think you have a little bit more leash if you're at Duke, right?
Maybe he's looking at it as a springboard too. Maybe he's not looking at like
my whole point. Like, how do you springboard from that? Like, because it's a good chance you're never gonna
win.
He's thinking he's thinking 6 and 6, a couple of bowl games in a year. You know, let's say 2 or 3 bowl games in a row, and this is Duke. 2 or 3 bowl games, $4
million a year, which is more than DC. So I guess you're still winning anyway, right?
Right.
And I mean, Elko
games are you're a hero, right? I mean.
Right. Elko just parlayed it into the Texas A&M job.
Facts.
So, like, if he's there 3 years, goes to bowl game 6 and 6, 2 years, and then 1 year he goes 7-5 or 8-4. Maybe he does what Elko does, and now he's at.
Now Elko had them guys relevant, like they was ranked top 15 at one point.
Well, I think when you beat Clemson, regardless of how good or bad they are at the time, when you beat Clemson on national stage in the opening weekend, that does a lot for your resume. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. So right now, Shawty, if there was 2 coaches in the ACC, you had to pick 2 coaches. Who you going with? Even if you don't know their name, you can pick like to start your program.
In terms of what though?
To start your program.
Oh, to start my program with?
Yeah, like who the top 2 coaches who the top 2 coaches that you might take out of the ACC? That's a hard one.
Oh, wow. That's because I mean, I'm not so big on no, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to give Mike Norvell credit for what he's done the first 2 years at Florida State. I mean, I just count the W's and L's. You got to give the man credit. So I'm gonna go with Mike Norvell for one. I mean, he only been there 2. How long he been there?
He's been there 4 years. He's been there 4 years.
4 years. 4 years.
Oh, I thought he had been there 2. But still, I mean, for what out of the 4 years, he was in the national championship game last year. I don't know anybody else that done that, so I'm gonna give him his credit for his wins and losses. So out of the ACC, Mike Norvell, and you know, just off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with Fran Brown.
All right, okay. So Jason, 2 coaches, whether they're like kind of the top coaches or who could be the top coaches. If you starting a program, who you taking out of the ACC?
Because of the fact that Dabo will not play the portal game, it would not be him. I'll just tell you that. So because he's not doing, but I think that he's probably the best coach in the conference, but I don't think that he is going forward. So I would start with Rhett Lashley, to be honest with you, out of SMU. I think that he has proven himself as a coordinator. He's proven himself now as a head coach. You know, he went out. They should have been in that spot for Liberty last year. The way that they went in first year in the AAC, won the conference. They played very well against the Power 4 opponents that they played, and I mean they stayed in the game with Oklahoma for a good part of that. I like Red a lot. The other one probably, yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the way that they've done things with the. I don't know, but I think Norvell is the other guy. I think it's got to be Norvell, the other guy.
Jeff, you starting the program. One of two coaches, man. Who you taking?
If this ends up on Twitter later, just know I know where you live. Just know I know where you live, Coach. If this ends up on
it's gonna be on there now. You brought it up.
Look, I'm going with two guys that are character guys. They're completely different character guys. But give me Dave Doran or give me Dabo Swinney to start my program. I hate you.
You heard it here first, folks.
You're gonna start your with the way this guy is. I know everybody got an opinion. I apologize, but you're gonna start your foundation of a brand new program with Dabo Swinney with the way that he's coaching now.
Yes, you know why? Because he has something that nobody else in that conference has: 2 natties. Y'all take whoever y'all want. I'll take Dabo Swinney and my 2 natties, and I'll just eat crow over it. But look, the kids like him. He's gonna hoop and holler. We all in. Can't take no recruiting visits if you sign with me. But look, he's gonna get the kids. He's gonna get the kids, and for some reason they love some Dabo. So sign me up. Let's go sell some tickets.
Oh, he's
loving. Did you have Clemson as one of your contenders?
Yeah, he had Clemson as one of his contenders.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm in a boat. I'm in the same waters with Stat, man. Listen, I got 2 guys. They actually have 2 totally different philosophies on the portal. I got Dabo, who doesn't really want to use the portal, but he does still recruit like a mother. And some reason, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. It's like even recruits have said, like, oh, when I get the Clemson offer, it's like not all of them, but it's like, hey, you know, they don't offer everybody. So when I got it, it was special type deal. I don't know. He's still getting people. And then the other guy is Mike Norvell, who will use the portal like it's going like this the last year to do it.
He probably
right. And I think, Jason, I actually think you're right. And I was telling Stat one day this past week is sometimes that can work against you because you get a whole bunch of people like the key Coleman's, like the Jaheim Bells and all these guys. You're getting these 1-year wonders because you still have to build the foundation. You still have to build a foundation. So now when they leave, and this is why I don't think Florida State is like in the top, you know, those top 3 spots or whatever. It's because you gotta say, okay, this guy hadn't even been in my program long, so I'm counting on this guy. And that'll work a year here and there, but that's not gonna work every single year. So, but the fact that he's willing to do it to get the necessary talent, I like that. You know what I'm saying? So those would be my 2 guys. I think Dabo's the best coach in the conference currently.
To that point, though, Coach,
I don't think it's a question coaching wise. But if you're starting a program today, right now, which means you don't have the history of Clemson right now.
But he built that history.
I was about to say
he did it. But if I'm starting at Duke today, I'm not going to go get Dabo Swinney. I'm not doing it.
Well, listen, Clemson was middle of the road at best when Dabo took over.
They weren't Duke, but either way you look at it, his legacy at Clemson is one thing because the
train on left the station, man. He did what he did. The train on left the station,
guys. But if you're not going to play the portal game and do what you got to do, why the hell would I want to start anywhere else but there with him?
Hey,
no way.
One of the military schools would love to have him because they don't use the portal at all. They can't.
Okay, well, that's fine if you're one of the military schools, but that's not what we're talking about.
Hey,
I just don't like his philosophy, but you can't argue the results. But I'm with you guys. I'm just arguing from the standpoint of his philosophy, not his results. That's why I wouldn't want to start my program just off his philosophy.
Right. I get what y'all saying, you know, like, as far as like starting the program because you're going to need the talent. My thing is, if I'm the AD and I'm starting, I'm a realistic AD. I don't expect you to win this year. See, a lot of these guys have this pressure on them and they got to like win this year. It's like, I still think, like, I think Shawty had said at one time, you get a coach, you should give them 5 or 6 years. And if you tell me you're going to give Dabo 5 or 6 years, yeah, I think he can turn it into something. At that point,
now, your own class, right?
Now, if you saying you got to do it in the first 3 years, you're right. Hey, Dabo ain't the guy because those high school guys ain't gonna be ready. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's what it is, man. So, but those are the guys that we would all, you know, all of us said the guys that we would take. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are some people that might be on the hot seat at the end of this season. And I think, I'm not saying they're gonna get fired next year, but if Cristobal don't make it to the ACC championship with the talent he got, I think they're gonna start the administration gonna start talking down there in Coral Gables. What you think, Shawty? Like who on your list on the hot seat?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what.
They don't hang on the hot seat very long.
I'm gonna talk about you talking about the hot seat. I think his ass fired. And he coming. And speaking of Clemson, he coming off the Clemson Dabo tree, Tony Elliott. If he go 3-7 one more year, his ass gone. He's 6 in like 16 last 2 years.
You gotta do that guy a favor and fire his ass, man.
Yeah, he's out of there, man.
On down there, man. I would do the dude a favor, pay him and let him go.
But Jason, like what Shawty was saying about Manny Diaz at Duke, like this still, like I get it. Virginia at one point was like an 8-win 10 back, but it's Virginia, dog. Like, I mean, yeah, fire him because he ain't even going 6-6. But like, what can you expect at Virginia though?
Not 3-7 though. Hey, coach, I'm in the conference. I get the same check you get. That story. You know what I'm talking about?
Duke, hey, Elko winning at Duke didn't do him no favors. That didn't do a lot of, like, it did hurt a lot of coaches. Like you said, like, hey man, that's like the years that Franklin was in the SEC, and you know, regardless of how he was doing, and he was winning 8-9 at Vandy, that was putting pressure on people. It's like
we getting the same check you get. We part of the same conference, bro.
So Shawty called it. I think Tony. I think
job like that. I think though.
I think Tony Elliott's seat is fuego right now.
He's out of there.
You got anybody else?
Man. He's out of there.
He's gone.
He's out of there, man.
Who you got, Jason? Who you got on the hot seat, man?
I mean, I think that I don't think it's a hot seat. I think it's an ejection seat, and I think it's got to be Mario Cristobal. You got a team like you got down there. You don't, and that schedule is absolutely favorable for them. Look, if you don't go into, I think your seat gets hot if you don't win in the swamp in week 1.
Can I say something, Jason? No, but his trajectory has only been up. Every year he wins more games. He hasn't done anything negative. I mean, he's only winning more games.
Hold on. Georgia Tech last year, whenever all you had to do is put a damn knee down and you win.
But he still won more games than he won the previous year. The first year he won 5 games. The second year he won 7 games. His trajectory is still going up.
And I'm telling you that a lot of this has to do with the fact that it's Miami also, and they'll fire you for less than what he did at Georgia Tech or in the Georgia Tech game last year. But the other part of it is that you can go and beat a Clemson, but you're losing games like that. You cannot be losing those kind of games and not getting to a conference championship in a conference that's been down. Let's call it like it is. Clemson is not what it used to be. You don't even get to the conference championship game. You've got Louisville in the conference championship game when they looked like
Jeff Brom first year. Jeff Brom first year, dog.
I mean, come on, man.
They got Miami at 9.5 wins.
So that's what I was going to ask you, Shawty.
If he doesn't make it to the conference championship game, that means he didn't hit the over.
So that's what I was going to ask you, Shawty. So he won 5 his first year, 7 is his second year, going up.
I think if he win 9, he good.
Okay, I was about to say, what if he wins 7 again?
Yeah. Now to Jason's point, for sure. But I don't think you can fire a guy who's only getting better. Like, I mean,
big face.
You know, I just don't understand it.
His track record is to do more, or is to do, as Stat was saying before the show, less with more.
Big facts. So Richard's asking us a question. If Clemson and Miami are in the ACC finals, who do you want as your coach? Dabo or Mario? Dabo. Give me Dabo, bro.
Ooh, I should have probably talked about him too, yeah.
Like we talking about going into the finals this year.
Dabo.
Like Dabo for sure, bro. Like
Dabo. He's a better coach.
Yeah, Mario, like I say,
he's a good recruiter. He's not a good coach.
He's a great recruiter. So which begs that right. That's what I was about to say. I'm like, that doesn't help his case. You know what I'm saying? So Brom is a beast. He's saying he's an underrated coach.
I like him too.
We'll see if he can do something
I
with
like
Tyler
Brom.
Shuck. Tyler Shuck up there at Louisville, man. They did have and I told Stat Guy this at the beginning of the season last year that Louisville had a favorable schedule. So, was it the favorable schedule that got him there, or was it, more so Brom, and his coaching? We'll see. He's got a new trigger man.
Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame last year, though.
Big fact. Still say Crystal Ball is 74 and 73 overall.
That has nothing to do with his, 2 records. We talking about at Miami. See, that's what you don't understand. I'm talking about at Miami. I don't care what his pass is. Huh?
He's been in Miami and Oregon.
I'm not talking about Oregon. I can only speak for Miami. He's only getting better at Miami.
Yes.
But if he went 5 wins and then 7 wins, and he's 12 and 12.
What you mean? What does it mean? You get him. How you gonna fire a coach who's winning more games every year?
Top 5 recruiting classes, and you're winning 7 games so far, and that's better.
What?
They've got the schedule that they got this year. They don't. They have a pretty light schedule overall in this season. And if you're gonna tell me you don't go out there and at least play for the conference championship in a weak conference, that this is a better. It's okay that you're a top 5 recruiting class last year, and you win and got the best trigger man in the country out of the portal, and then you don't do better than 9 wins. Come on, man. Don't. He's not a great coach.
I'm not saying he's a great coach. I'm talking about the results.
The dude gags it up, bro. The dude gags it. The results are that he gags it up at games that he should not lose.
Well, I'll say this. Keaton gets in and says it depends on how they lose the games that they lose. Now, I will say that makes a difference. Also, he did win 8 games last year because I think they won their bowl game. I think last year they was actually
I think he won.
They won 7 games. Sorry,
he won 5 the first year and 7 the second year. All I'm saying is I haven't lied yet. He's only getting better. So just cut my mic off when I tell a lie.
Right. But what I was going to say to that, hold on, Jason. Hold on, Jason. What I was going to say to that, though, 7 wins last year, but they only won 3 ACC games. I think that matters. I think if they win 8 games this year and they still, it's like, and they go 4-4 in the ACC, I think that matters. I see I think his record has gotten better overall, but I think if they don't make a statement in the ACC, I think that's going to matter at Miami. That's what I would say. Now, what you were saying, Jason?
That's the point I was trying to make is we're talking about a program that you can get the guys. I mean, the amount of talent that you can get at Miami in comparison to a place like Duke or any of these other places, it's a little different deal. If you go 5 and then 7 at Duke, okay, I get it. But you're at Miami. You're out there getting 5-star guys and recruiting in the top 5 and able to go out, and you have the kind of NIL that you can go get whatever player you want. Don't tell me 7 games was a big improvement last year, because it wasn't. It wasn't.
So let's look at the 3 games that they won in 2023 in the ACC. They beat Clemson, Virginia, and they beat Boston College. Other Power 5 win was Texas A&M. The rest
you
of their
can dig into the detail. The optics don't change. 7 wins is 7 wins. One year they didn't make a bowl. The next year they made a bowl. That's what the optics are.
Georgia, no matter who the hell the coach was, what would you think about 7 wins at Georgia?
What I'm saying to you is the man is in his 3rd year. He's building the program. He goes from 7 wins to 9 wins this year. I think he's good.
What were they the year before? What were they the year before he got there?
2021.
Yeah,
2021. They were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 and 6. So 7 and 5, 7 and 5.
Okay.
So and then in 2022 they won the 5 games, and then in 2023 they won 7 games. Yeah.
I mean, you can call it an improvement if you want to, man. We're talking about a place where you can get the kind of talent.
The numbers say it's an improvement. What do you mean? The numbers, you got 5. Listen, 5, 7. 7 is better than 5 in any mathematics I know.
Okay. That's fine. A lot of places. Don't act like we're talking about the same kind of place.
I'm just saying if he wins 9 games next year, he's
talking about Duke, Shawty. Come on, man.
No, I'm saying if he wins 9 games this year, the trajectory is still good. I think he's on pace on where he need to be in his 3rd year. That's all I'm saying. I think 9 wins and he'll be safe.
They're not favored in this year right now. 1. If they only win 9 games and they're only not favored in 1, that's not great.
Stat, what you got on this?
My thing is they're saying the same thing. I don't think Jason thinks Mario's getting fired if he wins 9 games. If Mario wins 9 games, he's not fired.
That's what the question is about.
He said there's a chance because there's a chance Miami doesn't win 9 games. That we've seen him not take a knee against Georgia Tech. He'll choke a loss away from a victory in a heartbeat. And if that happens and he wins 6 or 7 games, he might be out the door with the talent that they have. I personally think Miami's going to win 9 or 10 games. But if they don't and they win 6 or 7 games, Miami's getting a new head coach next year.
Well, you got South Florida.
Shout out to Parzival. Said cheers from Germany. We appreciate you tuning in, my man. Look like we appreciate you tuning in and getting some of this ACC football. Before we continue, man, I just want to let y'all know the Saturday night snap count. Y'all know what we do every Saturday during the season to do a college football wrap up on Saturdays. But we're doing the ACC this weekend and every other weekend until college football starts. We'll be previewing a conference. We're back on July the 6th. We'll be doing the Big 10. July 20th, we'll be doing the Big 12. And then on August the 3rd, we'll be doing the ACC. And then August 17th, we'll be talking about all the independents and G5s and things of that nature. And then the season will be the following week, man. So, but you was going through the schedule, Jason? Was that Miami schedule you was going through?
Yeah. I mean, they play Florida State. They don't have to play Clemson this year. So that's your 2 favorites, but they do get Virginia Tech. But we're talking about literally they're not favored in one of these games. One, because they got Wake. They finished off with Wake and Syracuse. I know everybody's loving on Syracuse a little bit. Everybody's been giving Georgia Tech a little bit of love. And I understand that. But when you look at the overall schedule, they got Duke. They've got Louisville, Cal, South Florida, Ball State, Florida A&M, and then, of course, the Florida game. You can excuse the Florida loss because of the fact of where it is, although I don't know that they will at Miami. You know, if you're going to get Florida.
I don't care who you excuse. They get 9 wins. They get 9 wins.
Right. So Richard brings up a point about Manny Diaz. They fired Manny Diaz after winning 7. But the only difference I'll tell you, Richard, between Manny Diaz and Mario Cristobal, and I'm with everybody, man. I think Mario Cristobal has to improve. And to Shawty's point, numbers have been showing improve, but they definitely want to make it to the ACC championship. The difference between him and Mario is Mario wasn't in the top 10 in recruiting every year. So Cristobal can at least say that. And that's one thing they take into consideration. If he goes from 5 wins to 7 wins, and then like Shawty says, 8 or 9 wins, and he's getting top 10 talent, then you can make a case in the board meeting and say, hey, man, this dude is improving. With Diaz, he wasn't getting top 10 talent. So they's like, if he can't win more than 7 games now, it might be time to, get off this train or whatever. Shout out to Bishop Frank, man. What's going on? He said this gumbo is fire.
Eric.
What's going on, Eric? We appreciate you getting in here, man. So appreciate everybody, man. Hey, man, y'all, some of y'all on my channel, some of y'all on Jason's channel. Make sure y'all hit the like button on both the channels, man, so we can get out to get out to everybody, man, so we can do that. So water James Strice says, oh wow, water's clear over here. They are. Hey, listen, y'all say he needs to win at least 9 to me. Hey, listen, I don't. Yeah, right. What's up, Stink Cat?
Good.
What you gonna say, Stat?
I said I'm with the 9-win statement.
Okay. Richard gets. Go ahead, and then we'll get to Richard's question here. This is actually a question I was gonna get to.
Yeah, go ahead and do the question first, and I'll jump in.
Right. So he says, who do we think ACC Player of the Year might be? And this is a good question. We was gonna get to that. Good question, Richard. While we're thinking about that, what's up, Sooner D? Appreciate you getting in. Shouting ACC Players of the Year. who's some candidates? I guess that's
Well,
what would be a better question.
I'm just gonna tell you who it's gonna be if all go well and he stay healthy. Cam Ward.
Hey, listen, you
better win more than 9 games.
Right. Shout out to Neilio for the $5 super chat to Jason's channel. We appreciate you. I hope y'all having a great Saturday evening. We are Neilio. We appreciate you stopping by, my man.
And to that point, Jason, if he is playing well and player of the year candidate, they will win 9 games or more.
Facts.
That's why they one of my contenders is based off of Cam Ward's performance.
I think if Cam Ward stays healthy, he's up for it. And my other person is Phil Maffa, the running back at Clemson. Again, he had over 900 yards, sharing the load with Shipley this year. They don't have another feature back. They'll have some guys to give him a break, but they don't have another feature back. And Riley actually wants to run the ball more than people think he does. You know what I'm saying? So I think he'll go over 1,000 easy. So those are my 2 guys. Stat, what about you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I like Maffa. I think he's going to put up big numbers. I like Vitek's quarterback.
Kyron Jones.
I think Kyron Jones can. Yeah, I really think that Vitek has something special brewing this year. Man, it's going to be. I tell you what, I cannot wait to see a night game up in Blacksburg and see Enter the Stand Man and it be live up there because it feels like we haven't had that for 15 years.
Been a while.
Yeah. Right.
I got Drones rated my 4th best quarterback in the conference.
And that we'll talk about that. Now I like that too, Shawty. I like that too. Who your player of the year for the conference candidates, Jason, if you had to think of a couple?
If we're talking about Florida State, I think that obviously you got to say DJU is going to have to, in order for them to perform where they're going to have to, I think he's going to have to be a player of the year guy.
I think that's the part right there. For them to be where they want to be, I think that's right. I think
you have to have him be that guy. So I would say DJU. I like a lot of the guys that you guys brought up as well. I think another guy, if Syracuse is going to be really good, then you have to go with, and as much as I'm not a big fan of Kyle McCord, but I think that it's going to depend on him being very good for Syracuse to be able to be one of those teams that's in that top 4 or 5 in the conference as well.
Yeah, I think those are good points. If Florida State is to be that team, then DJ definitely will have to be in the conversation, because if he's not in the conversation, there's definitely won't.
Like I say, he can't be losing games. You know what I'm saying? He can't be losing games.
And losing games will get you out of that race. But as long as you keep your team winning and you show up in them 2 to 3 games you need to show up in, it'll have your name in that conversation. So, and that goes to Eric's question, who's the best quarterback in the ACC? I think everybody being healthy has got to be Cam Ward. I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of argument against Cam Ward.
I think if I was going to have somebody close, it would be probably Malik Murphy. Obviously, DJU talent-wise and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Cam Ward comes in as the guy that he's got more tools than everybody else, it feels like.
What about you, Stat?
I was going to say Grayson McCall. I don't know when.
I got him 3.
I don't know if Carolina State will win enough games to move the needle, but he's just a quarterback. Like he's going to take care of the ball. He's going to make the quarterback play. He's just going to put them in a position to win football games.
Richard says DJU or Ward. Ward might save Crystal Ball because he is that good. I think that could be the case. That Ward could be the difference between a 7 and 9 win team if he stays healthy. And I think he is. He showed last year that he's that good. I forgot all about Grayson McCall. You are right. Grayson McCall, I like that guy as far as quarterback talent. I think Malik Murphy possesses. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. Malik Murphy. Listen, Cade Klubnik physically has everything that you want in a quarterback. Dude can run. He can make all the throws, sidearm throws, that kind of stuff. It's the between the ears, dog. It's like I said, it's the pre and post snap reads of the defense. I don't know. We'll see what Garrett Riley can do with him down there. But I mean, you talking about talent wise, I think Malik Murphy and Cade are up there. But definitely Grayson.
They got the highest ceilings.
Yeah, Grayson McCall has the most experience out of any quarterback. I think he's a year ahead of Cam Ward, even as far as snaps, because that dude was 4 straight for Coastal, and then now.
But you talk about a meteoric rise for Cam Ward, man. I mean, he was at
he was at the FCS school, right?
Yeah, he was down. It was at
he was at FCS, and then he went Washington
San Antonio. It's right on the tip of my tongue here. It's one of those religious schools. It's dang it. And then he ended up obviously at Washington State, though. But to go from there to Miami in 2 years, and incarnate word, that's what it is.
Appreciate that, Nilo.
Yeah.
Incarnate word, that's right.
Nilo.
And I would say, hands down, he's got a better supporting cast around him at Miami than he did at Washington State. So with the things that he was able to do at Washington State, he should be able to, if everybody's putting things together, So I'm gonna be honest, like talent-wise, there's no reason without injury that Miami shouldn't be playing for the ACC title game. I mean, if they're not, like I say, if they're not, then you start to look at some of that stuff.
Hey, man. That's what I'm saying. So they get them 9-10 wins, man.
It's got to be more than 9, bro.
I think 9, he good, folks.
He's not good at 9. He's not going to get fired at 9, but he ain't good at 9. If he's not playing for the conference championship with that schedule, that is not a good year. With Cam Ward, come on.
I got a question for everybody.
What's up, Stat?
If you can put the ball in one guy's hand, say you're down 6, last possession of the fourth quarter, you got to get the ball to your playmaker. Who out of the ACC do you want?
Grayson McCall.
The person getting
not
it to
quarterback. Yeah, the guy you're getting the ball to.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Triple Man.
The person you're getting the ball to?
Yep.
That's a tough one right there because I'm trying to.
And I'll go ahead and let y'all know my answer is Grayson McCall's new wide receiver. The star from North Carolina State last year as a freshman, Casey Concepcion, who is an absolute burner.
I'm gonna go with Restrepo from Miami.
I'll say Brian Westcott out of.
You want a true freshman?
He's that guy, man. I think he's that guy.
Yeah, I think TJ Moore is gonna be better than him, to be honest. But I think he's good. I'm getting it to Xavier Restrepo down in Miami. That dude is a playmaker. Keaton said Stone at SMU. James Rice said I want the ball in Jordan's hands. He said, "Yeah, I cheated."
I feel you.
Miami better win 9 games with all that talent, or he's done. So, Eric, you said 8 games won't get it for Cristobal. That'll be an improvement.
No, you gotta win 9.
Don't start sounding like freaking Shawty right now.
Shawty say he was just saying he was talking numbers, dog. 5, 7.
Yeah, I mean, come on, 5, 7, 9, bro. Come on, you can't fire a guy after 9 wins coming from 7, starting off at 5. I mean, like you on the right trajectory, bro. I mean, come on, so you can't justify that.
Maybe if you're at SMU, maybe that works.
Okay. So, last question before we get up out of here is: whoever wins the ACC, do you think they have a chance to actually win it all? Start with you, Jason.
No.
So no matter who wins it, okay.
Don't matter who wins it.
That's tough right there, dog. Like say your conference ain't even got a shot. Shawty, what you talking? What you thinking?
I don't know. I already got an early playoff picture that I played out. Let me see.
So look at so in your playoff bracket because you showed us in the chat. In our group chat. Yeah. So whoever made it from the ACC, do you think they can win it all?
Ooh, cause my matchup end up from the SEC. You have Florida State playing Ohio State, which I think they lose.
Okay.
So no, so all the ACC teams will lose in the second round.
I got you. Stat guy, whoever wins the ACC.
Not all. I'm sorry. I got Clemson to get a bye, and I got Florida State losing in the semifinals.
I got you.
Or the second round, the way how they work.
Yeah, right. Second round. I got you. Stat. Whoever wins the ACC, do they have a realistic shot to win it all?
The only team that has a shot to even win any playoff game is Clemson. Mm-hmm. And I do not have Clemson going to the playoffs this year.
Whoa. So you don't think Florida State can beat the 10 seed, whoever that is?
No.
Okay.
But the question was winning it all, a chance to win it all.
Yeah.
They're not. No team from the ACC is going to win a playoff game unless Clemson gets in. Clemson's the only team I would have put any faith in.
Well, the winner get a bye, so they automatically make the semifinals.
Not the semifinals. They just make
the second round. They make the second round.
They're top 14, so they get a bye, right?
Right.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Gamecock Grind with the Rooster. We appreciate you coming in. That's my guy, Stat Guy, co-host on the Fan Addict, man. He is South Carolina through and through. That's right, man. I'm with y'all, man. I don't think it doesn't matter who wins the ACC if they get past. Like Shawty said, we talked about the playoff format. They get a bye the first round. I think they could win that next game and be in the semifinals, but like I don't think they're getting past whoever they play in the semifinals. To be honest with you, I don't even think they would make it to the championship. To be real with you, you know what I'm saying. So I don't think they have a chance.
Knock that shit off.
So I don't think so. It's a second round. See, after second round, it would be all Big Ten.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask you something like that. And this is the reason that we've been talking a lot about how hard it is to win a natty and stuff like that. With in the 14 was hard enough. I think in the 12, it's tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that I think that you could see. We were kind of talking about this the other day, but Coach, I was going to ask you this. And so say theoretically, you end up with like an Alabama that, a couple of years ago, they lost those 2 games by a total of like 4 points, right?
Right.
Last year, you guys failed to win the SEC, but had you got in that fifth spot, that fifth spot is a spot, man. If you're not going to be in one of those bye positions, that fifth spot's a good place because you're going to get the 12 seed in the first round, and then you're going to end up getting.
Which the 12 seed should be the G5.
The G5 school. Right. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to get
Tulane at that spot.
So you're going to get the 6th seed in the quarters. You almost are, if you're an SEC school that was just right there,
right,
to getting into, to getting that, winning the SEC or whatever, that's a really good spot to come from to win the whole thing.
Right, because you won't have to play the first seed, number 1 seed until the semifinals, which could be a rematch of the SEC championship.
Right,
because I had Texas in that spot. So Texas would play Tulane first. Then if they beat the 12th seed, they'll end up being Texas would be the 5th seed. So then Texas has to play with 6 or 4. They play Kansas State they would be playing Kansas State in my playoff picture.
Big fact. So Gamecock grind with the Rooster. Stat guys, he's on the Fanatic, which we are hosting on this show. I'll put it in the thing, but it's right up under my name at Fanatic Sports. You can on YouTube. That's our Twitter. These are all our Twitter and YouTube handles, but I'll put that in the thing. Just go to at Fanatic Sports on YouTube. So he's on there with me. So but I like that shot there. But I mean that 5th spot could be. Listen, if you're gonna have to play the first round, then the 5th spot is the spot you want to be in.
I think that they kind of reserved that spot for Notre Dame when they were thinking this thing up. To be quite honest with you, because if Notre Dame goes through and they're 11-1, they're probably going to get it.
See, I got them at 6. Notre Dame at 6.
Okay.
Well, because you got whoever lose the SEC championship at 5, right? That's what you
correct. Texas, right.
I got you. That's like I say, that's a good spot. That 5, that you got to play first round, but you get the 12 seed, which should be the G5. And I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk, but it still ain't playing one of the other teams.
More than likely.
But then again, you turn around and in the Elite 8, you're facing the Big 12 or ACC winner, which is a lot better than what else you could be facing.
Right. That's
what I was getting at. It's like I think that this for the folks that were thinking, hey man, we got a shot because we got one of those buys. I don't know that it really sets up any better for you for the Big 12 or the ACC. I think that when part of the reason that I said no, you don't win coming out of that conference.
It just comes down to that battle of attrition thing. If you don't have to play and have to worry about getting, because you never know what's going to happen, right? So if I don't have to play the game, you know what I'm saying?
More times than not, you've got another SEC team or a Big Ten team that's more battle tested throughout the season, and then they go up against. Look, even if they're a conference champion out of the Big 12 or the ACC, they haven't gone through that rigorous and played the type of teams that you've played to come out of the SEC. I just think more times than not, you're not going to see a lot of these guys even make it to the semis, I don't think.
Yeah, so first round 2 is not at school location. It'll be one of the bowl games that we already know of, one of the bigger bowl games or whatever. So they won't get that. Rotation. First round you get that that bye. So I mean the home game. Sorry,
the home game. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be a
yeah.
cool part of it, though. I love that.
Which to your point, Jason, that number 5 would be playing at home. You see what I'm saying? That number 5.
Yes.
So that 5 spot, if you lose, I agree with Shaw. It's either going to be the SEC loser or the Big Ten loser who's going to get that 5th spot right there. I think unless Notre Dame goes only 1 loss. Now
That's Notre Dame has 1 or 2 losses, even 2 losses, depending on where you have your. Because if you had a 2-loss runner-up in the SEC,
right?
You know, they would. The only
that
reason
might be the 5 spot. Depending on who they lose to, they're the 5 spot.
I would tend to agree with what you're saying, but the only thing I would tell you is that you say that, except for this committee's not just about who's the best necessarily. They're going to want. They want
money.
Notre Dame to be in it longer.
True.
Because of the ratings. The
right.
longer
because if they drop,
they do.
Right, because if they put them in the 6 and not the 5, now Notre Dame has to play a P4 school right off the bat.
It'll be Penn State
or the SAC. Or
who
the
I
SAC,
got.
Right?
It'll be Penn State.
Yeah. So basically, you saying it'll be a Big Ten team. So I don't know, money wise, you know, they always kind of saying Notre Dame's a Big Ten style team anyway. So money wise, maybe they do want to see Notre Dame, you know what I'm saying, play that. But
if you can get into the semifinal game, you're keeping a lot of people in the fold for early. You know what I'm saying? You're keeping a lot of people in the fold. So I could see them doing it just because it's Notre Dame.
Yeah. What's up, Stat?
I was going to say the one thing that I think hurts with that narrative is, and again, the committee could go completely rogue, and I've been lying to us all along, but they said 5 through 11 is going to be 5 through 11. And I just don't see Notre Dame being in that 5th spot at the end of the season. I think if they drop, even if they drop one game,
schedule?
If they drop a game,
11-1 is
it's doable. But if they drop
what they do,
at worst, if they drop a game, there's going to be a 2-loss SEC school ahead of them. It's just how it's going to end up, or a 2-loss Big Ten team ahead of them. I could see Notre Dame sliding down to like 8 or 9.
Not with 1 loss, bro. Not with 1 loss. They wouldn't do that.
Hey man, listen, man. This is a good start to the Saturday Night Snap Count season 3, man. We talked ACC. I didn't even know, to be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it real. I didn't know who was gonna be able to fill an hour and a half with the ACC, but we did it.
Hey,
go ahead.
Oh, bro.
I got one last burning thought that we didn't get to bring up.
What?
Do we think the cross country travel that we see it slip anybody up this year in the middle of the season?
Well, this is the thing about that. The cross country travel, whether it's not going to slip up. It's not SMU, Cal, and Stanford. I think SMU is the best of those 3 of the 3 that they actually added. I think Stanford has lost too much. Now going the other way, I think every team that has to go that way that matters as far as what we've talked about, I think they're just better than those guys. When you go to Stanford, when you go to Cal, I think if Clemson goes to either of those, I think they might go to Stanford. I think they're just better than Stanford. If Miami goes out there, I think they're just better than Cal, that type of deal. So as far as this year particularly, I don't think it will have that much effect.
And I would say this right here too. To Coach, what he just said, I don't think it's going to have that much effect to this point. Whether a lot of people know it or not, I mean, at the end of the day, these guys travel better than a lot of professional teams. Trust me. So I just don't think it's going to be no big deal, because these guys are going to be still very well rested. You know what I'm saying? Very well fed and have enough prep time to be readjusted. Now, do I think it have some effect? Yes, but not a big effect.
But
I think once Stanford gets back to who we know Stanford to be, I think it matters then. But right now, I just don't think they're good enough to say
Stanford is Stanford. It wouldn't matter where they were flying from.
So I guess my point to that is, you take a Clemson and they play Georgia Tech on a Saturday. That's a bus ride back home that night. Mm-hmm. Now you are going to Stanford. That game's not until 10 o'clock our time. You're not coming, but you're not getting back until late Sunday potentially.
The other thing
ACC loves Thursday games too. Hey, listen, ACC loves Thursday games, so I don't know what the schedule look like. So if they got a Saturday game and then have to turn around and play a Thursday game, injury wise, maybe I don't know, because that lessens the prep time. I don't know, but I just don't think win-loss wise in this first year, because of who the teams are, I just don't really think it. Like, I mean, I think a pick could go out to, maybe SMU or Stanford.
You're not going to be getting tired, stretched out on the 747, ordering peanuts and sodas. You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
You're not going to and sleeping with your headsets on half the flight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something, just a burning thought, something new.
It's a hard thing to do, though. I think it's a good question because I know traditionally East Coast teams have struggled going to the West Coast to play at all, and that's from every conference.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that would necessarily have to do with the travel. That could be just more of the difference in the type of football. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole different story. I mean, we can get into the nuts and crannies of things, but I mean, I'm not going to blame a flight on, the way we.
But I think it's a lot of things. You have altitude. You have different. There's all kind. The time zones. All that kind of stuff is a lot different, man. It's just a different thing for your body. I'm just telling you what the statistics say, that it's not been good for East Coast football teams when they go west.
So
West
I'll
Coast
say this:
do better going east.
Stanford gets Virginia Tech at home, who I don't think it's going to matter because I think Virginia Tech is that much better than Stanford. They also get Wake Forest home. Now they could beat Wake Forest, but I think Jim Grove is having a lot of rebuild down there now that he doesn't have Hartman and a lot of those guys. Last year his offense wasn't that good, and then they get Louisville at home. Maybe they keep it closer with Louisville, depending on what Tyler Shuck is at quarterback or whatever. But when the better teams go out west, I just think talent wise, it doesn't matter. Time zone change, style of play, all that stuff. I don't think it's gonna really matter. That's just my opinion, though.
I like Tyler Shuck under Jeff Brom, but it's a matter of him staying healthy, though.
We'll see. Exactly. I was about to say he hasn't really been healthy, man. Man, shout out to everybody that's got in the chat today, man. Neelio, Richard Shearer, you was on point today, man. Bishop Eric, Stinkass, Cat, Sooner D, James Thrice, Eric Evans, Boomer 129, Parzival from Germany, man. Again, shout out for tuning in from Germany, man. Steele, Stephen G, Steve B, Keaton. Who else is in here? Sid Irish. So appreciate you getting in. Kyle was the first person in here.
That's right.
Shout out to Kyle, man. Shout out to everybody that's watching that did not comment. Ryman Lemon, appreciate you. I know you had to run early. Appreciate you getting in. We had a lot of comments. The chat was on. Fisherman, the chat was on fire tonight. Sooner Cowboys for getting in. Sydney Case, Jason's mom.
My mom, man.
Hey, shout out to
Shout out Steve B, man.
Yeah, Stevie Rowland. Who else? Kyle, we said you. Sharpshooter. I got Brisky out partying hard. Get home safe, Brisky. We'll see you in for the next one on July the 6th. Y'all don't forget, man. Don't forget to tune in on July the 6th for our Big Ten preview on the Saturday Night Snap Count, 9 p.m. Make sure to go over to the Fan Addict and hit the like and subscribe on the Hall of Fame College Football. Like and subscribe. Jason, you got a second channel as well, right?
Hall of Fame Sooners. It's over there as well. Yes.
Okay. Make sure you go on the Hall of Fame Sooners where he talks all Sooners, because on his Hall of Fame College, he talks all college. The Hall of Fame Sooners, he's talking just Sooners. All right. Go around the table. Shawty, tell the people where they can find you at, my man.
Yeah, man. Y'all can find me on Wednesday nights on YouTube. Just my damn opinion at 9:30, man. We talking about barbershop talk. I mean, we talking about a little bit of everything. So, man, like I say, get your mouthpiece, get your helmet, buckle up, man, because you're always going to be in for a ride, man.
Hey, man, y'all make sure y'all go over there, subscribe to Shawty, man. Hey, man, like I say, keep it real over there. Hey, some good talk every Wednesday at 9:30. Y'all make sure y'all get out there, man. Shout out to Drew for getting in, man. We appreciate you. Jason, tell the people where they can find you at, man.
Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. It's at CFB-pod, and then we're also over at HOF Sooners as well. We're putting out content day after day, man. Trying to crank it up before the start of this season. I just can't tell you how excited I am, man. I'm pumped up about the SEC and a lot of the content that we're going to be doing together. I love the snap count, man. I really appreciate being a part of this again this year. Coach thank you for inviting me back to it, and can't wait for this year, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's right, man. Snap count going on this year, and also we're working on a pregame show on Saturdays between some of these with Jason, Shawty, some content creators. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Also on the Fan Addict Discord and Patreon coming 2024. We already working on that, man. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that, man. So Stat Guy, you got anything to say before we get up out of here? They already know they can find you here at the Fan Addict.
Hey, man, look, I'm just going to say this. I'm still mad you set me up tonight. It was great to be back on the show, though.
That's right, man. Y'all, hey, listen, if the clip ends up on Twitter, Coach I didn't do it. Y'all just know that Jason, Stat Guy was in here rooting for Clemson.
Don't even lie.
Your boy ain't your boy.
Off on me before you are not putting that off on me before it even happens.
Make sure you see the app, the handle. It ain't me. Hey man, we appreciate all y'all, man. Y'all make sure again like and subscribe to all these channels, man. Especially like I say, Hall of Fame college football, Hall of Fame Sooners. Say that again.
Hall of Fame Sooners.
Hall of Fame Sooners. I just want to make sure, just my damn opinion. Also, Shawty is a part of another podcast called The Doc and the Jock, where you can get some relationship advice as well, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out that.
Tuesday nights at 7.
Hey, that's definitely interesting. Hey, right. They talking love languages last week. So y'all make sure if y'all having some issues in your relationship, get at the Doc and the Jock.
And she is a licensed therapist, so it is real information on the real.
Big fact. She is a licensed psychologist and she gives out real advice. So, and then Shawty's there to keep her on her toes. So y'all make sure of that, man. We appreciate y'all coming in, everybody, man. It's been another episode of the Saturday Night Snap Count. We'll be back on July the 6th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We out of here.
Peace.